Guys, it's me. I'm back. What's up, party people? We're like, Max, come on. All right, this show is taking a turn for the. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to a special edition of Monster Bass Live. If this is your first time tuning in, we got a great show for you. We've got the newly crowned Bassmaster Classic champion, Justin Hamner, with us today. But before we jump everyone on and get him on the phone, and I want to tell you guys a little bit about the weekend that we had. You know, we were at the Classic too, and it was really great from a brand perspective to get out there and see our customers, interact, have the opportunity to chat with them. A special thank you to Matt and his family. Matt cleared his entire weekend, and he worked the booth. He went out with us. He carted us along. He really helped us and saved the day for us. So really grateful for the opportunity to get to know you and to be a part of it. And just want to say thank you so much. Yeah, we had a great show, and we sold out of all of our product, which was great. So either we didn't bring enough product, or it was just really well received. And we're looking forward to the Classic next year in Texas. And it's abundantly clear. The one thing that we learned was we're not doing enough consumer shows. You know, we've built ourselves as a digital brand, and we're grateful for that because it allows us to have great sponsors like Liquid Death, who keeps us hydrated. So cheers to them. But we're not going to spend much time talking much about Liquid Death. We're going to jump right on. We're probably going to have limited number of phone calls today because we are on a bit of a time crunch. So let's welcome in Raphie and Chris. How you guys doing?
I'm exhausted.
We're excited.
Great.
Come on, Raphie.
Now, in Raphie's defense, I mean, we would get on the trade show floor at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we would stand until 7 o'clock at night with like no chairs in the booth. We were just nonstop. So I get it.
And then Matt was like, "All right, we got to see Tulsa."
Yeah,
that's right. Get out, party. I saw the video game. Were you guys professional at that spinning wheel? Like, could you stop that every time perfectly?
After day 2, I would crush it. No problem.
All right, I just wanted to make sure. No, it's awesome.
I'm
you guys
developing
had
a
some
Twitch.
good interaction.
I'm developing
seeing
a Twitch,
the prize
looking
wheel,
at that
I think,
wheel behind Rick.
Yeah, no prize wheel today, but what a cool showing. I just got to see from the digital side. It seemed like folks were stopping by the booth, super excited. Like, what a cool thing, like you said, to reconnect with humans and to have that showcase and just bass fishing fans and interacting with other human beings that enjoy bass fishing. What a cool thing to do. And what an awesome opportunity. And then now with the champ here, interview him about his life. Like, what a cool show this is going to be.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to call him the Hamner Hammer?
Hamner time.
You'll have to ask him.
Hamner time.
You'll have to ask him. All right, let's not waste any time with us because he's on a bit of a time crunch, as you can imagine. He's only been the champion for 3 days. Let's give a big warm welcome to Justin Hamner. What's going on, man?
Champ.
Insanity.
Yes.
I'm with Raphie on this one. I'm tired.
Yeah. I bet.
Oh, man.
No,
Thank
I'm sure.
y'all for having me on, though.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
It's been a whirlwind.
Yeah, I'm sure. And we could sit here and we could talk about the Classic, and you could answer the same questions that you answered in the press conference, and the same questions that you probably answered on every interview you've done. But I think what we'd love to do is just get to know you and your journey. I mean, because you walked into birthday weekend, and instead of just hanging out and having a party with your family, I mean, it was time for business, and I can't think of a better way to culminate your birthday weekend than a Classic championship. And but let's go back to where it all began, right? Because I heard that like in middle school there was a project, and they asked like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?"
I was the dumb kid in, I don't know, it was like 5th grade, I think. It was like, yeah, I want to be a professional bass fisherman. like Jay Ellis had just won the Classic and on the Alabama River, and I mean I was already ate up with it. My dad had me out there dragging a stupid Carolina rig around since I was like 7 or 8 years old. Made me hate that thing.
Yeah.
But they asked us to do like whatever essay on what we want to be when we grow up, and yeah, it was a professional bass fisherman. I want to be like Jay Ellis. I want to win a Bassmaster Classic.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And why Jay at the time?
Probably just because he had just won the Classic. I'll just be honest, and it was on the Alabama River. But he was always just such a stand-up guy too. Like he was a good one.
Yeah. And speaking of Alabama, I mean, you were the Alabama junior state champion for 3 years in a row. Like,
yeah.
From what ages?
14 through like 17, 14, 15.
Awesome.
I don't know. Through 16. I'm not sure. I'm terrible with numbers. I'm from Alabama. We don't know how to count. I
love it.
But that was it was pretty wild actually, because Joey and Ania, my first junior state championship, what that did was like qualifies for the junior world championship at the time. So, and it was, I mean, Bass put on a show. Got there and it was all like the Elite Series guys then, and we actually got to go out and practice with them for a day. And I was with Ron Shuffield and down there at Leesburg, Florida on the Harris chain, and it was just crazy. But yeah, the Elite Series guys took us out. We practiced today, and then the next day was competition, and Joey and Ania actually won that tournament. And then however many years later, here we are. I won this time.
That's amazing.
Gotcha, Joey.
Now, did you grow up fishing, like just fishing with? You said you grew up fishing with your dad, right?
Yeah.
Was he a great teacher for you, or was it more like my dad wants me to throw the Carolina rig, so I got to throw it?
That's just all he knew how to throw. That's still, I think, like I taught him how to swim a jig a couple of years ago. He's like, "Oh, this is pretty cool."
All right,
but yeah, I mean, he taught me. There's no doubt he taught me a lot. But like honestly, me and my buddies growing up, like that's all we did. Whenever, like my best friend Jimbo, when we got done with school at middle school, his mom would pick us up every day, and they lived on the lake. Well, he had just a little John boat, little tin boat. We'd slide it off in the water every afternoon and just start. Had one little electric trolling motor. We charged that battery up every night. As soon as we got off school, that's what we were doing. We were hopping in that boat and going fishing.
Nice.
Awesome.
And so you're the junior champion for 3 years in a row. So does that parlay into like a scholarship, or like where do you take that?
At the time, I just took that plaque and put it on the wall. That's about as far as it went right there. But it fueled me. Like just being around those guys, all the different pros, and getting to meet them was at that time insanity for me. Like I'll never forget. I was sitting at that, like I said, that first one was in Florida, and me and my parents were out to eat, and Ike and Ellie comes up. I mean, dude, he didn't have to do anything, and we were just sitting down eating, and he remembered me from like the meeting, and he's like, "Oh yeah,
That's cool.
Come down and sit down right beside me," and I mean, talk to us for like 20 minutes. Just he was freaking awesome. Just those little moments like that, just that'll stick with me forever.
Yeah, I bet. And so you put the plaque up on the wall, and at what point do you decide I'm making a go at this? And what did that look like?
Well, I mean, I knew that's always what I wanted to do, but I had to be real. I had to make money. I mean, when I graduated high school, I went to work, pouring concrete, doing that whole deal, and then got that cushy job at the University of Alabama cutting grass for like the athletic department and stuff. And honestly, that was one of them deals. Is most people, once they get in that, it's ride your 25 out and retire and live life happily. And no, I did it because of the time that I could get off to go fishing. That was like the main reason I loved that job, because we
Yeah.
could work overtime, comp that overtime for paid time off, so I could leave to go fishing. But yeah, my first year trying to go fish the opens, they actually did away with that comp time, so I couldn't be off anymore. So it was literally like quit or, you know, be stuck there forever. And I don't know why, but my wife was like, nope, we ain't doing that. She was pregnant at the time. Like, literally, I had to stay there at that job with the university because the insurance was so good. She's like, like it was terrible. I'm, I'm so dumb just thinking back, but she was
But
all
she
for it,
supported you through it.
dude. Never once like even questioned it. I was like, "Are you sure? You know, I'm not just like completely screwing our whole lives up." She's like, "You're good." Probably because I wasn't going to shut up until I actually chased the dream and,
Right.
you know, went for it.
So
But
do you remember your first tournament?
like when I was a kid.
No, like after you quit your job. You quit your job at the
Oh,
University of Alabama that's got really great insurance and, you know, I'm sure they have a great 401k plan and all the things that, you know, people look for in a very comfortable, you know, job. You quit that, you
yeah.
fish your first tournament. You remember which one it was?
Ooh, I don't. I remember the second one was on Chickamauga. Or that might have been the first. It was either the first or second one, but I tried to block that out. It was bad,
Yeah.
especially that first year, because I don't know if anybody knows or not, but that I ended up missing making the elites my first try. I was the first one out, and that whole story of, you know, at the James River when I didn't make the cut. I made every other cut that year, but that one at the James River when I didn't make the cut and didn't even have the daggum money to get back home. Uh, that tournament cost me making the elites that year,
Yeah.
and it was, I mean, it was borderline me even trying again just because of how tough it was. I mean, it was brutal on me and my family, having a newborn at home. And it's like it wasn't like I was ever actually home, because whenever I was home, it was working from daylight to dark, cutting grass and pouring stupid concrete. So, gosh, I hate both of those. I'm
I
kind of
gotta I
torn.
gotta
Like I
jump
want to,
in. Can I ask you,
yeah.
Justin? I think that's your wife's painting behind you. Where did you meet this angel that supported you? And I just want to know, like that. Did you hide the fact that you were addicted to bass fishing, or when you first met, was she dating you because you're a bass fisherman? Tell us a little bit about that.
It, we've been together since we were 14. I
Oh wow, that's
swear it
awesome.
was. I don't want to be like the cheesy story, but I walked into high school, first day of high school. Me and my buddies, we walked in the lunchroom, and like all of us, you know, like, oh yeah, picking out girls and all this stuff. And I looked around, it's like, I like that one. Yeah, that one's mine. And
That's
dude,
awesome.
I have
That's
no
awesome.
idea why she's. I don't want to call her dumb, but she stuck with me through some dumb stuff.
Yeah, she knew. I mean, you look at the championship. I'll tell you, I married my high school sweetheart this year. It'll be 34 years, and congrats to you guys for. I think that bond that you have from what you've been through. I think my favorite story I heard was at one point you were looking through your truck, the seats for change for a cheeseburger to get home after an open, and to know the stress of a young dad, and you got a baby at home, and you're trying to do all these things, that burden that's there, and then overcoming that as well to be able to focus on fishing. I think that's probably the real story in my mind of like, how do you separate the burdens of life and requirements of money? How does that fall? Because it sounds like you were splitting the time. You're working from sun up to sundown and then just fishing where you could. Is that how you did it?
Absolutely. That's why I lost it on stage when
Yeah.
I picked up that trophy, because of, I mean, what I put them through. It was just like we finally did it, and I finally, after all the crap I put them through and everything we've done, yeah, that made it all worth it.
Yeah, I'll resonate the words you just said. We finally did it. I think that's this unique piece is when a champion like you realizes you're the one throwing the bait, but there's a group behind you, and that's really special. I'm sure your wife, as far as the overwhelming success and seeing that joy, I mean, what a cool feeling to see. So congrats to both of you. That's awesome.
I really appreciate it. Gosh, yeah. Sorry.
And now she's like, you did it, no more, right? Back to stupid content.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
No way. I was going to say that she has the whip out. She's like, now get back out and practice because we're doing this again. Right. That's the real story.
Yeah.
Like,
now she actually wants me to go fishing.
Yeah, get the cup out, start flipping, pitching, like get good at this for real now. And I love it. It's cool to see the emotions. The emotions got to be raw. It's 3 days into this. Like, have you guys partied? Did you celebrate? Like, it seems like you got to like at least let your feet hit the ground. There's too many interviews, right?
They haven't hit the ground yet. I can promise you that. I've had a lot of interviews. I mean, it's been insane. And dude, yeah, like absolutely. I'm just glad somebody wants to talk to me. They never have before.
Are you gonna buy anything frivolous with the, you want a boatload of cash. It's your biggest paycheck ever. You gonna buy something that's like you just normally wouldn't buy?
Yeah, I'm getting out of this stupid double wide.
I love that. Amazing.
That is the first thing. And that's what my wife was so excited. She's like, we're selling that stupid thing. We're building a house. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But little did she know, I put everything on red and let it ride.
Yeah. Double it up, baby.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't sell it yet.
That's got to feel so good to know that, like, you bet on yourself, she bet on you, and now you're going to get to turn around and make a dream come true and move into like maybe a forever home. Who knows?
Yeah. Dude, it's awesome. It really is. Yeah, I mean, that money's going to be great. There ain't no doubt. But
yeah,
that freaking accomplishment, that was what means so much to me. But yeah, all the money and everything is such an accomplishment to be able to just provide for them. I mean, that's what us guys are here for.
Sure.
We're supposed to be the providers, and she completely entrusted that in me chasing these stupid little green fish around. So yeah, it feels good.
Cool.
After you hoisted the trophy, did you get any piece of advice from anyone on any one of the other pros that you can share?
I could share but I'm not. I'm keeping what Davey Hite come up to me, and dude, it's not like it was some special magical thing, but that's something I'm just keeping.
All right.
That was special.
Yeah.
Great.
Hold those for a while. Those are your special moments. I think one thing that resonated, you said in an interview a while ago, Dave Mercer said that Brandon Polinick, you mentioned he came up to you when you were the rookie and he checked in on you. And I think this is a really neat thing to think that you're the big cheese the next couple tournaments, and you see these next rookies that come out in the Elite Series. I think that's that opportunity for you to become the Brandon Polinick or the Mike Iaconelli that goes and makes time for other people. Did you ever see yourself being in that position? Because I think that's the transition, as you had these moments where they made an impact on you, and now you have this mantle to make an impact on other people. Does that weigh heavy on you, or are you excited about that?
I'm excited about that because one thing I will be like vocal about is I can't stand the guys that's like, man, I would never let my kids do this, or fishing such. Yeah, it's tough. Like, dude, it's brutal out there, but I wouldn't trade this job for anything in the world. Like, and all these rookies that are coming in, like, I'm all about it. I don't care how they like to fish, what they do. Yeah, come on with it. There's some freaking hammers. And Kyle Patrick and Tyler Williams, I talked to them a lot, and hopefully I made that impact. I mean, I definitely wanted to let them know I was there for them if they ever did need anything. But Yeah,
That's cool.
still feels weird.
Chris,
I still
could
feel
you-
like that little kid.
Could you imagine if he answered the other way? He's like, nope, I won.
Nope, I'm out.
I'm so
Not talking to
cutthroat
anybody.
now.
This is for me. I'm out.
I gotta stay at the top of the mountain.
Nobody's invited. That's right. It's my party. No, it's that whole pressure. Like you became the top dog, and now this whole thing. I think that sometimes that's the next piece of pressure. You realize like now you get to become somebody's hero, and it's one of those things I can tell you as a dad. If there was a guy that I wanted to have my children look up to, I love your sense of humor. I'll reference some interviews because I was spying on you, and you're like, hey, what do you want to be remembered for? And you're like, just because I'm so good looking. And I love the candor of that answer. But the reality is you're talking about just being a solid, upstanding guy. And I think that's what the bass fishing community, I think Rick was mentioning at the beginning of the show, I don't know if you heard, but connecting to the fans, realizing that people, I think we already all knew who had won watching the live broadcast, but thousands of people left what they were doing, left this show at an expo, and they went in just to see their favorite anglers inside an arena, to drive around in your truck, just this showboat experience, but to realize thousands of people are there for you. I think that's the incredible story for me, is like, it's not the baits, it's not the gear, all that stuff works. It's all great. They wanted to see you. And I think that's that one piece that resonates the most with me, is I can identify with the struggles of life and the story you go through, and the having children and making sure they're taken care of. And I think that's this unique opportunity to have a guy like you on a show like this. Like, we just want to hear your story. Is it like, what do you have to look forward to now though? Like, what's the next step? Have you identified what you even do now that you're the winner? Do you got like right back to the grindstone? Are you practicing? Like, what is, or do you want to replace that and do that again? Cause I know I think you were like runner up to rookie of the year. You qualified for is it all about getting back to the classic again?
Well, we are already back in the classic now.
Yeah.
Since we won that automatic qualification. I don't want to be cheesy. I really look forward to just getting back out on the water and going fishing. Dude, awesome. I can't express that enough, like how much that's just what I love to do. I mean, I'm going to do everything. I'm not good with the words coming out of the mouth thing. I'm still trying to learn that part. That's always just been the number one thing, is I just love to fish. And if I can help bring other people to do that, that's freaking awesome.
That's cool.
But I think it's pretty cool.
That's not cheesy. Yeah, no, that's not cheesy at all. That's why we're all here, is we love to fish.
Yep, exactly. And I am shocked by the amount of people that's reached out, like, dude, I don't have any money, I'm broke, and I didn't think it would even be possible for me to try to, be a pro. And it's like watching you, they think they have a chance, and dude, you've got a chance. You just got to put in that hard work, and it's going to suck. Like, ain't no doubt about it. It's going to suck, and you're going to have to work your butt off. But it can be done. And I hope everybody takes that part away.
That's awesome.
What's the hardest thing you ever had to do on the road?
Do y'all like watching me cry?
I think whatever you're, yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt. That's the easiest question I've been asked all week. Leaving that girl sucks. Yeah. And it was 2 years ago. It was hard. I mean, when she was a baby, it sucked, but, she didn't know what was really going on. She was a baby, but when she actually started realizing what was going on and trying to walk out the door, and she's I'm wrapped around my leg, screaming, crying.
Oof.
That ain't easy. That ain't easy.
So your advice to someone that is watching this right now, that wants to follow in your footsteps and be a professional angler, besides like just do it and it might suck, what else you tell them?
Do it because you love it. If you don't love everything about this sport of bass fishing, it's not going to happen. because there's no way I'd have put myself through all this if it wasn't just the true joy and love for this sport in a whole, every aspect of it, the good, the bad, the ugly. You better love it, but there ain't no halfway in, halfway out. I wish I had some tips of like, oh, this is how you need to practice and this is what you need to do. I ain't got none of that. I just, you gotta love it.
Do you?
Yeah, go ahead, Rick.
Yeah.
Oh, go
Rick,
ahead, Chris.
I wanted to ask.
Go ahead.
I think you said in the past you had no plan B. And I think there's something about the dedication that singularly looking to your goal was to be a professional angler. And this is how I'm going to make the money. Doing the work necessary to get there, whether it was concrete, whether it's cutting grass or whatever. Was there ever a plan B, or was this the only option for you for the success of you as a human?
That's all I've ever planned on. There was never any college or trying to work up the job and to get a different job. I literally picked that job with the university because I could be off to be able to go fishing more. And yeah, there was never anything else.
That's awesome.
Who gives you the best? Who gives you the best advice on tour?
Patrick Walters. He's the only one that gives me advice, probably. Me and Patrick are tight. Like we're tight, but that's another dude that I wouldn't be standing right here without him. When I was fishing the opens, I was actually sleeping in the camper with him. I couldn't afford daggum paying anywhere to stay and stuff. He let me stay in his little bitty tiny camper that would fit in the bed of his truck, and I'd just sleep on the little pull-out table thing. And yeah, he's been there with me, dude, from the get-go. As soon as I started trying, yeah, he's the man too.
Sounds like an amazing friend. What do you say? We have someone on the line that wants to ask a question. You all right if we take a call?
Nope, no calls.
Okay.
Yeah, bring him on. Bring him on.
I already dropped it. Nah, I'm just teasing.
All right. Let's see who we got. Who's taking it?
Oh, now you're going to wish you didn't take this call.
Oh boy.
That's
no.
fine.
I hear it.
So hey, Justin, JT here. I'm a good friend of Alex Rudd's, and I love the fact that even before all of this happened, you have no fear of like hopping on podcasts and live streams with people and just enjoying and sharing the passion that you have for the sport that we all share, whether you fish out of the boat, kayak, the bank, whatever. But I have to start out by saying, as the father of a daughter, and then a grandfather of 3 little ones around the age of your daughter, it was so awesome watching your daughter picking up and throwing the confetti everywhere all over the stage. And then when you guys are starting to get on the boat, it's almost like, ooh, is he going to tell her not to bring the confetti on the boat? Which it wouldn't have mattered, because then they walked around and filled up your boat with 10 minutes of confetti, and she got to continue her joy of celebrating your victory. So that was really, really cool and awesome to see. And I love the fact that you just let kids be kids and, do what you wanted to do and celebrate, because it's a family affair when you do something like that. But
Absolutely. That was probably my favorite part of any of it.
Dude, I mean, it was so incredible to watch, and it's such a family moment. But the cool thing now is, at least for the next year, you are the voice of Bassmaster. And that's really cool. And whether you want it or not, like you said, you're going to be on a lot of different shows and representing, as the guy, the man. And you know how it is these days. There's, in a time where fishing had kind of gone slow and then picked up again because of the pandemic. And then, and then people were back into it, and, the sport was kind of really riding high there for a while. There's still, it seems like, a lot of divisiveness just over like technology and things. And to me, it's just it's a funny thing that we're living in a time where, you know, you've always wanted to promote the sport to younger folks, you know, watching you as a high school angler and the kids that are now have an opportunity to fish in high school and for college sponsorships and, you know, grow up with, you know, learning how to fish, but learning how to fish in, you know, something that's not a rusted out V bottom. And, you know, we have technology advancements, but it seems like there's so much with like the whole forward facing thing. And I love how you summed it up in the way I wish a lot of people would earlier. Fish how you want to fish. You know, a lot of guys, you know, we all learn the basics, but even though you have something that's, you know, gone to the next step, you know, we've had, you know, graph papers, and then we had down imaging 2D and then side, and you even got little trolling motors on the back of power poles now. And you've also, you know, got technology that lets you look around in a different way. But I still can't understand the hatred for it. But like you said, fish how you want to fish. And I don't understand the people that just hate on it and want to be divisive in the sport when it's just another tool in the tool bag. And honestly, I start to wonder if people who've written books and articles and things for years, you know, have had some of what they have said turned upside down, because we can actually see what they were saying is not always necessarily true. You're learning more about fish in a few years by using technology than we've known in the last, say, 40. So I have to give you credit for saying, you know, fish how you want to fish, but not, you know, necessarily choosing sides. But I wish more people would take that opportunity to, you know, to kind of reach out and embrace that. I love the fact that you fish for Garmin. I just picked up my new EchoMap Ultra 2, you know, a couple of weeks ago. Can't wait to get it rigged up. But, you know, it's not the only way to fish. But I hope that you take this opportunity to really be and spread your voice and your thoughts as the representative for at least the next year, so that everybody kind of gets to say, if that makes sense. Not so much a question, but, you know, love to hear your thoughts about what's going on in the community, maybe some statements that a former Bassmaster, multi Bassmaster champion kind of made about people not really knowing how to fish because they're using technology. I disagree with him, and I hate that, because I've been a fan of his for my entire life. I'm 55. You know, he was winning the Classic when I was a kid. But, you know, I just guess I wanted your thoughts on where we're at in the industry these days.
Yeah, I'm with you on it. It sucks that it's so divisive. I mean, I hate that, because, dude, we're all here because we love fishing, regardless of how we do it or whatever. I mean, yeah, it's proven that. I think that is why it is so divisive for people, because they think it's just now you don't have to know anything about fishing and just go out there. And I feel like that is so far from the truth. I just feel like we're learning so much more now, and learning that everything we thought was true actually isn't. Versus, you know, nobody knows how to fish anymore, or pattern fish and stuff. And I don't know. I hate that, all that negativity, dude. I love smiling and laughing and catching fish. Like, I hate hearing people argue
Yeah.
about it, and whatever rules change, if they do ban it, whatever. I'm still
Yeah.
freaking fishing for a living. I don't care. I did this for 30 years without it. I'll be fine. I love it just because I can catch more fish, and I'm being able. Almost to me, it's like, you know, people that love turkey hunting, being able to like do the turkey call and they're interacting back and forth. That's what I feel like I'm doing when I'm being able to throw my jerkbait, and I get to see how they react and see what the fish are actually doing, dude. I love it. It's fun, but like I said,
Dude, that is literally the best analogy I've heard yet. And if anybody hasn't read Shay Baker's article on Justin's win about all of the adjustments he had to make every day on the water with changing water conditions, wind patterns, fish moving, he had to adjust and use the skill of actual fishing to catch these fish and hold off stiff competition. But Justin, dude, you're a true hammer. I've been a fan of yours ever since you were on Dave Mercer's show a couple years ago after, I think it was the second place in AOY. And then, of course, I've seen you on various lives too. But, dude, it's so awesome to see a younger cat who's not so young, but, you know, you had to earn, you know, you had that failure of the first year in the elites and then had to come back and fight yet again. You've had to, you know, you've had to grind and fight and learn and adjust and adapt and grow every single year. And for me, there is no better definition of a Bassmaster Classic champion than a guy like you. So again, hearts out to you, dude. Great job. Love what you're doing. I can't wait to follow the rest of your career for the rest of your life. And do me a favor, add a couple more videos to your YouTube channel, because last I looked, there were only 3.
Well, he doesn't have time, Gramps, because he's doing all these interviews now, and now he's going to go build a house too. So I don't know if there's going to be more videos, but thank you so much, Gramps, for calling in. Those are some really good words.
Thank you so much for those kind words, dude. I love it. And actually, I do not
All right, brother.
know why.
Keep after him. I'll let you guys get back to the show.
Thanks, Gramps.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, so I actually did hire a YouTube guy, like literally for the Classic, because I caught the big fish at Fork, and I was like, I got a little bit of extra money. And one of my good buddies, you know, he's been doing it and stuff. He's been like doing Jordan stuff and several other guys. I was like, hey, I need somebody for the Classic. I'm gonna win this Classic. He's like, oh, okay. And then he's like, holy crap. So, yeah, we're about to release like a 4-part series on the YouTube. Should be pretty cool.
Wow. I think you'll have plenty of people that'll be willing to come and film you now. I don't even think you'll need to overspend for it. I think you'll have some volunteers that'll make some really great content for you.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
And thank you to my dad for calling in, talking so nicely about me.
Well,
I was going to tell you, obviously, Carolina rig. I was waiting for your dad to say, "I'll see you at dinner, son." But no, I will have a question to go back in time. You said a 5th grade teacher maybe was asking you what you want to be. Did you have any naysayers growing up? Like, did that teacher? Is this the time that you bring that trophy back and I told you so gets to be presented, or was there anybody that was a naysayer? And the second part of that is like, who is your biggest cheerleader to keep you going to follow that dream?
The biggest naysayer was, I'll never forget this. When I was walking out on my last day working at the university, and one of them old heads that had been there for, 30 years.
Name, please.
Literally right before Northam.
Yeah, this is what we wanted to get to. No, that, and I know the type. I want to tell you, I get to work with the San Francisco Giants and the same kind of guys at Stanford University. I put on events, and then the guys that cut the grass and you can't touch their grass or even look at it, they get so mad at you. So I know exactly who you're describing right now. So keep going with the story. I love it.
So I was walking out, and I went to open the door, and I hear him say, because he couldn't even see me anymore. I guess he thought I was already gone. We'll see him back in about 3 months. And dude, I was like, all right, I'll be homeless before I come back and work here with y'all.
Oh, I see a t-shirt right now with his face kind of looking at you and you holding the trophy. I just think that'd be fantastic. So I think that's probably the best naysayer to drive you. Who is a cheerleader? When I'm thinking of kids and upcoming bass anglers and people, like I know a lot of youngsters are in this high school circuit, and I always try to be positive. Who was a positive driving force in your life that kept you like, yeah, you could do this and you got a future? Who was that helping you out the whole time?
My dad, 100% my dad. I mean, I know that's the cliche answer, but dude,
that's cool.
It was my dad. He, probably most dads are like, son, you probably need to start thinking about your future and, get a real job and stuff. And my dad was with me every step of the way. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
That's way cool.
That's amazing.
So you catch any good fish with the Carolina rig? Do you give tribute to dad and still throw it every once in a while? You ain't throwing it.
Nope.
He threw it at the Classic.
Yeah.
You won the Classic on a Carolina rig.
Look, that tournament at South Dakota a couple years ago when everybody was catching them on Carolina rig. Oh, my dad lit into me on that one.
I bet.
Yeah,
bet.
I love it.
I don't
All
know
right,
much.
let's take one more call because I want to be cognizant of time. But we got one caller, and then Fixie, let's shut the phone line off. We can turn it back.
Now it's
on
my
after,
mom
but
calling in.
I think it is. I think it's your mom. Let's take this call. Go ahead, Mom.
Hello, fellas. T-Rex.
Oh, you might as well be related. You probably have something nice to say. Go ahead.
No. I'm just, I'm very proud of how you fished this week, and you did an awesome job. And I do have one question. I'm going to keep it short. So my one question for you is I know how much that you love your wife and your daughter, and you went full out for them. But when you were standing on that stage and you lifted that trophy and it clicked in your mind that your dream finally came true, what went through your mind?
It's hard to know what all was going through my mind. One thing that went through my mind was I think the stage shocked me, like electrocuted me or something. That was weird. And then the next thing that went through my mind was just we did it. We did it. And probably one of the other moments that nobody's really talked about, but when all my family got to come up on stage and I immediately went over there to my dad and got to hand him that trophy. That was awesome. That was really cool.
It's beautiful.
I don't know if that answered your question because I don't even remember
that's
doing
perfect.
confetti. I didn't remember that I did confetti snow angels until the next day and somebody showed me a picture.
I love it.
Amazing.
You weren't thinking clearly after the stage shocked you.
Right?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Well, keep up the great work. It's a pleasure watching you. I watched you all weekend on the TV, and I can't say nothing more than what Gramps already said. You're awesome, and I can't wait to see you hoist that trophy again.
Dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, T-Rex. Appreciate you calling in.
Guys, have a good day.
Awesome.
All right.
Oof. So Justin's got to go soon, but I want to give you, like, Justin, I'm an old guy, I got 6 kids, and I want to give you a piece of advice. And then I want to ask you if you got a plan for this. How do you express, like, have you thought about how now you're the superhero of bass fishing and your daughter's pretty young? She's going to always know you as this. So I don't know if you've thought about how to express to her later that, hey, dad used to pour concrete and dad used to cut grass. I'll tell you, you mentioned a while ago on a show that you want all your trophies behind you. I'm going to beg you to do this for me. When you get that house built and you have your fishing room, if you can do this just for me, and you don't even know me, but maybe keep your wife's piece of art back behind you, and next to it, put maybe something to do with laying concrete, and whether it's, some kind of trowel or something, and maybe something to do with a weed eater head, just to have those tributes to where you came from. I think for a guy like myself to see that in all the accolades, to remember that you came from that hard work, I think that to me resonates the most, of like, what a cool success story truly from where you came from and the work it took to get there. But whether you do that or not, do you have plans to try to stay grounded? And how do you convince your daughter in the future, like, no, dad woke up with the sore back and poured concrete? Have you ever given that thought yet? Because I know this is all so new, but at a certain, the reason I share is my kids, I used to be a plumbing contractor, and then I became an event announcer, and I do all this fun stuff with fishing and do some podcast stuff. And they're like, you used to do plumbing? And I'm like, yeah, I worked on septic tanks and that.
I had a real job.
Yeah, I actually had, I worked with my hands. So have you thought that through later? Because your daughter's only going to know you as the superhero Bassmaster champion.
Yeah, no, it hadn't even crossed my mind.
No,
I have a feeling she's gonna know him. She's gonna know him as dad.
No, that's honestly like talking to you and just knowing that your family, when you say that you won something, your family was the most important piece, and we won this. And it's like you said, leaving her was the hardest part. You got nothing to worry about. So just super excited as a fan of fishing, but as a fan of humans that overcome adversity. Your story is worth sharing. So thanks for being here.
Dude, absolutely. And yeah, that, that was fun. Now I'm gonna go in there and have to like whoop her just to, I don't know. We're not going to Disney.
We're not. Right.
That was the
good
point
luck.
of the story.
When she bats her eyes at you and grabs your leg, you're doing exactly what she wants to do. So good luck with that.
Anything. That I actually am scared of that because, dude, if I like did pretty good in the tournament, it's like Daddy was coming home with her new prize. You know, I haven't seen her in a week and a half. You know, I was gonna stop by the store. Now that we actually do have a little bit of money, Daddy might have to come home with a pony.
Oh no. My friend bought his wife a pony, and then he found out those things will last like 40 years. Like,
don't do that.
You may want to rethink the pony.
Get a forward-facing pony.
Yeah.
Hey man, I really want to thank you.
39 years old.
Yeah.
For sale.
So I know you've got lots of interviews to do, and we're really grateful that you came on and shared your story with the community. It was really great getting to know you. I mean, I can't think of a nicer person, more humble and just, a really solid human being. I can't think of a better person that we've had on this show. So it's really been an honor and a privilege to have you here, and congratulations. You're the Bassmaster Classic champion, man. So
you dang right I am.
Yes, you are. There you go. That's right. Yeah. Dang right you are.
Sweet tea.
Yes.
There you go.
Cheers to the sweet tea.
But seriously, thank y'all for having me on, and this was fun. I actually got to mix it up, do a little bit of different style interview. And dude, if y'all ever want me to come on, and maybe when this stuff slows down a little bit, we can do it again. I really appreciate it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much, man.
Enjoy it.
Yes,
appreciate you.
Thank y'all, buddy.
Thank you, Justin.
Bye.
Man, that guy is he's so nice. Like, just like a solid human being. Like,
it's awesome when the good guys win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like real people. You kicked off the show talking about connecting to humans at a trade show, and like you talk about this digital marketing and talk about the divisiveness of how algorithms work, and they highlight things that are controversial, whatever. That puts us in this weird world. When you get rid of all that and you talk to humans at a trade show, and then you get to interview the Bassmaster Classic winner, and he's a human and a stud and a good guy and a dad and a husband. What else do you want? Like that? Yeah. That if you're worried about the world and you could have just listened to that interview, the world's okay. At least for right now, everything's going to be okay. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to give a shout out also to Ricky at Bass 365 for helping to make this happen. We've got a partnership with Bass 365, and Ricky spends he's on tour. He's at every single event. The guy's on the road 800 weeks out of the year. And I know I didn't do the math right, but I know there's 52 weeks. But I gave a call to Ricky and I said, why don't we get Justin on the show? And he's like, yeah, why don't we get Justin on the show? And, he called me right back. And so thank you, Ricky. I really appreciate you. And it was really great to have him on the show. I mean, think about it. He's only been champion 3 days. He's answered the same questions over and over and over. And at some point, man, you just got to get tired. He's literally going to another one right now. So
can Ricky be like our Bassmaster genie, where we're just like, I wish that we can get?
He kind of is.
Yeah,
he kind of is. We were standing at the kitty corner from our booth was Livingston Lures, and Livingston's in the box next month. So I walked over to Eric, my good friend at Livingston, and Randy Howell was there. And I was like, and Eric's like, Randy, you're going to have to go on Monster Bass Live. And Randy's like, well, I did Monster Bass Live. I said, yeah, you did, but that was years ago. We got to have you back. And so we'll have Randy back in a couple of weeks. And I'm excited to have him there because he's a pretty good dude. And Now it's funny how like you watch the families. This has become a family business, right? His son Laker is coming up, and you know we'll probably have him on the show at some point. But a lot of good people, a lot of good people. It does take support. I mean, the key word was we. If we could all learn something, it's we.
That was my favorite parts, and he just slipped that by and kind of said it in an understated manner, and we won. It's never I won. It's not just about one human. I just want to. I wish I forgot to tell him the YouTube video he needs is to go back to the university and find that grumpy old dude and just kind of drive by with his truck and have the champion trophy on the front of his boat, and a little meep meep, like wave to the guy, like what a cool story. And
didn't Michael Jordan do that? Didn't he like bring up his high school coach at the hall?
Because he got caught. Yeah.
I got caught. Yeah. And I was like,
you know, the other thing that he said that I think is really important, right? He didn't have a plan B, because plan B is planning to fail.
Burn the boats.
I'm telling you, that safety net, those things we all talk about, the most successful people that I know, and I'm terrible at it because having all these different jobs, the friends that I knew in high school that are like, I'm going to be a dentist. They're dentists. The ones that carried around a briefcase when they were 12 years old and they're like, I'm going to be a lawyer. They're lawyers. And we just got to meet Justin Hamner, and he's like, I'm going to be a bass fisherman, and he's a bass fisherman, and not to mention the world champion. But I think that's that thing, is being all in. You're all in. What else are you working on? And he's not like he wasn't working. I mean, the guy's crushing it.
I would have broken your streak, because I'm not black nor a backup dancer for Kool and the Gang.
You know, well, hey, you weren't all in. You obviously had a plan B. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So that was just a fun idea in the house.
Yeah, the wedding singer at bar mitzvahs.
Sometimes there is reality you just have to face, and you're like, backup singer, whatever, dancer, just wasn't happening. Wasn't for you. But you know, we can all dream. What a cool message to share. I love how he said, you know, when kids want something, he didn't really go into how much he's worked. And I think that's that one thing that just sits out there of like leaving your family, leaving your wife. It's so fun to see what he kept compressed down inside. He's almost crying thinking about the times that he left his daughter. And it's not like a young teenage daughter that's like, oh, my dad wasn't present with me growing up. He's just torn up over leaving a little young girl that's a couple years old. And what a solid dude. Like that's some serious commitment. And I'm super stoked for him. That's awesome.
I just feel bad because when you guys asked how I was doing, I didn't say it was really hard leaving my family and going to the Bassmaster Classic. I was just like, yeah, I was fine and I'm tired.
You're a jerk.
Oh,
no,
my goodness.
never. Wow. Oh, I tell you, that's just don't ever admit it. Yeah, no, yeah. Can we transition a tiny bit? Like, I want to know, you guys were on the showroom floor for hours and hours, and I want to hear some of the highlights and maybe some of the shenanigans, but talking about the transition of being an online business, direct to consumer, all these things that Monster Bass is. And then I know you went and it's like this consumer show and human beings and touching and feeling and seeing baits. What's the response? Because I know we talk a little bit about it. Like we have this subscription box, and then Monster Bass is transitioning into kind of the groundwork to being a legacy brand and having their own baits. What was that like in the interaction from people on the show, like on the show floor?
You know, it was really interesting. This is the first Bassmaster Classic that we've attended as Monster Bass. I've been to every classic since 2007. In a variety of capacities. Some I just walk, some I've had a booth. And to be in the booth where you're situated at one time and to not walk around really focused my attention on just the consumers that were there. It was not about me, it was about the brand and about the people that were there. And so the interactions that we had were really interesting because it helped me realize not that many people know who we are. And we have this digital footprint that reaches hundreds of thousands of people, but it also helps me realize like this market's really big. And what was interesting for me was I would ask them if they had heard of Monster Bass, and a lot of them that said no, I would ask them if they had heard of Mystery Tackle Box. And most of them said no. And so to me, that was really like an aha moment that we need to, as much as digital is important, there's a reason why, when the politicians are running for office, there's a tour and they're shaking hands, kissing babies, and really getting in touch with them, because that's when you can feel that connection and create that bond with the consumer. And whether or not they purchase or not, they're having an experience with our booth because we created one. We created one that was intentional for them to connect with us. And so I think for us, the obvious maneuver is to spend more money, attend 6, 8 consumer shows a year, and take Raphie away from his home, and
which is going to be very, very difficult for me.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'll tell you, no, his wife was so excited, and his family's like, yes, finally he's gone, and they're like, yeah, I can't wait for him, trying to book him out to get him to all these. No, I think that you're spot on with your connection. And I think the fun part is like having people meet the owner of a brand. And I hope Raphie was not kissing any babies, but that human interaction, I would say out of all the booths there, I'm going out on a limb that none of them had the owner present in their booth. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't think the owner of that's one of those things is I think your opportunity to interact with the consumer and also building that relationship. I think that's the unique piece of Monster Bass, of building community and building friendships and just having that consumer trust. I think that's kind of a unique portion that you've offered in the fishing community. I really like that.
Yeah, you're not wrong, and I'd love Raphie's take on this, because I do think that the difference between us and say Brian from Biz Baits, if you're familiar with Biz Baits. I remember Brian at his very first trade show, and it was him and his wife with a card table, like a square card table, and like 10 packs of baits on the table, and that was his little booth. And and then I watched him at this one where he had a 10 by 20 and 6 guys working the booth with him, and And the difference, I think, between what we were trying to accomplish and what he was trying to accomplish, because he's been to so many of them, is he's trying to sell baits. At his first trade show, he's trying to create connection, and because he needed to create that to help get that buyer, to change their sentiment. And I think that it's something that it's just part of who we are. It's in our DNA. And I think even when we're trying to sell, I think there'll always be that piece that we're striving for in terms of connection, because I think of A, who we are, and I think B, that's the right way to do it. And having like that game in the booth. And I mean, we learned so much. I mean, we connect with what did the hat say, Raphie?
What hat?
The pigs.
Oh, the show pigs.
Yeah.
Riley's show pigs.
Riley's show pigs. I asked this family came to the booth. I asked him, I'm like, what are Riley's show pigs? And he stood there for 20 minutes. And then, we knew the kids' names. We knew everything about what they do. Like the dad was telling us, he came back the next day and he told me how much he enjoyed like talking with us. And I think that was like what's a little different. I don't know, Raphie, what'd you think?
I think we have somebody that we met at the Classic who's in the chat right now talking about how the black and blue craw that he bought was absolutely killer when he went fishing.
Can he call in?
That's awesome.
I don't know. Jerry, could you call in? Number's there. 323. Now it's down. Now it's up.
Yeah, put it in the chat for him.
But that show for me was perspective changing, because you could sit behind a desk and like develop strategies and promote your brand just out through the internet and social media, and you could really get lost pretending that you're connecting with people by being completely disconnected. And it wasn't, the fact that people came over to us and they did not know what Monster Bass was, it wasn't too much of a surprise to me because of how big the industry is. But what was really exciting is that people came over and started pulling things off of the rack saying, I've never seen a pattern like this before. I can't wait to fish it, or would ask questions like, wow, this looks really awesome, but what kind of hooks do you have on this? And, you know, Rick, to your point, just to get the opportunity to connect to people that are there and not just talk to them about fishing, but talk to them about who we are and what we're doing and what we want to do. It's, I don't know, I feel like you market to somebody online and you might get a sale, but you meet somebody at a show and connect with them, and then they just turn into your brand advocates. You know, they turn into like your people who want to see you succeed. And it was just awesome the way that we were embraced. You know, just the conversations that we had. Show pigs blew my mind. I didn't know that you could show a pig.
Yeah.
Turns out you could show chickens, you could show goats, you could show just about anything. It was awesome.
And then you can
I think. Yeah, I mean, the evolution of what we just saw with Justin Hamner. I think in the fishing industry, there's a lot of people like naysayers saying, oh, pros tell you they use this bait, they use this line, and they kind of mock pros for doing their job. I think that's a unique perspective where I don't care what baits Justin Hamner uses, but I might be inclined to buy them if I thought the tiniest bit would support him. And I think that's an interesting take because baits, as you know, baits pretty much across the board, as long as they're okay, they're gonna catch some fish. But any way I can show support now to Justin Hamner, I'm a fan of him.
Totally.
And I think that's that piece of like having people become fans of Monster Bass or part of the family. I think that family, that connection, I think that's more important than just making that one-off sale. Like you're saying, is you find somebody, you throw a bait in front of them, you do your marketing online, they buy the bait, they go fish, great. But to be a family member of Monster Bass and be inside the community and be able to scan a code and then help name baits and give feedback or call in from on a show and say, man, you guys are a bunch of idiots. Like whatever it is, like what a cool thing to be part of a Monster Bass community. And I think you're hitting it right on, like going and interacting with people. The business sales are definitely going to come from that. So I think that's pretty awesome.
Let's take this call.
Yeah, we got a call from somebody who I think is in traction in urgent care.
Well, that or he's in stuntman school, learning how to stop, drop, and roll.
Well, I will say airborne school at least helped me not die from that event. But yeah, I'm not necessarily moving very fast these days.
So the backstory is this. So first of all, this is Matt Brown, and Matt was Matt was kind enough. Matt cleared his weekend. He literally talked to his wife and who we met, and we met his kids and the really nice people, and he cleared the weekend for us, and he really saved our butts because problems with the booth, problems with, and he drove us all around.
It might be a little too inside baseball, but when you have a wire rack, slat hangers don't fit.
Wire versus grid. Anyways, so he helped us, and he worked the booth with us, and it was just proof that, like, really good people. Like, the Monster Bass community is really made up of really good people, and I'm really grateful that we got a chance to meet you and your family because,
absolutely.
I don't think of you just as a member of just a friend. Like, I consider you family now, and I would do anything, and except for maybe take scooter driving lessons from you.
Well, I am probably not the guy that you want teaching you how to ride a scooter. I proved very successfully that I can't do that.
Yeah, Tulsa's got hundreds of scooters all around the city, and so every night when we'd go out, of course, we'd pick a restaurant that was across the bridge and through the woods over by Grandma's house, and we'd ride 4 miles on scooters. And it's a bit of a challenge after you've been out for a little bit, and so we had a great time.
Oh man, yeah, no, we had a good time. And in all honesty, I was going to touch back on seeing you guys in the booth and the interactions with people. One of the coolest things that I got to see was there were some people that did have Monster Bass gear on, and that we got to see, interact with you guys and meet you and see you from the live event. And that's one of the very few things that I've ever seen from a company or a group or an organization or anything with the CEO title on it, is you get to walk into a booth and have a 15, 20-minute conversation with the guy that, you kind of feel like as a celebrity in your eyes. You know, here I am, this punk kid from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I get to hang out with some really cool guys, in my opinion, from LA. You know what I mean? It feels like you get to go to a big stage and really get to meet people and interact with. And not only that, it makes you feel like they care about you as this individual person. And that's what you guys prove every single week on the show. That's kind of the cool thing, is the community is so important, and what drives your focus is so community based and so family based on just building every single aspect of Monster Bass to help somebody learn how to fish and help them understand that this is more than just casting a line, you know, and catching a big one. This is a lifestyle and a community of friends that you gather around you, you know, and have a good time, like go to an event. But it's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's so great meeting you. And you're right. When people did come into the booth and they were wearing Monster Bass gear, like they were all in. Like they were just like, whether they were telling us that we helped them catch their PB or what they loved about it, they were all in. And that was really cool. That was really cool meeting so many people.
Oh man, and the caliber of people from all over the country that we got to meet was spectacular. You know, I had the opportunity of sneaking around a little more than you did. You were pretty glued to the booth, and I got to wander a lot more and meeting, you know, just different brand developing, and a lot of these really small companies from all over the country that come down here and are just trying to, you know, hey, this is who I am. And again, bring some more awareness to themselves and their, you know, really cool ideas. And I think I showed you one of those, Rick, where I was just like, man, this is just brilliant. I wouldn't even have thought about this. And that was really cool thing to see, is just the thought process in the community and how somebody can come up with a really neat idea, just that kind of niche market.
You're not wrong.
But yeah, no. And I mean, and then I don't know about you guys, but running around town was pretty exciting. Getting to see all the, sitting next to, you know, Zuna at the end of the night was always cool to hear stories from everybody that was in the community too. So that was definitely a fun time.
Yeah. Tulsa's a good town. A lot of
I want to hear, well, like, give us some insight. Like, now he wants some shenanigans. Yeah. Where did you guys eat? What was the best food? Like, I wasn't there and I'm a little jealous. Okay. Can you tell me some stories? I want to hear something.
I mean, I'm going to let Raphie tell you the story. I mean, obviously, you know, as you all would expect, we ate shark in Tulsa. So
we did.
Because you're a foodie, you're out getting your sushi every Friday with your son, all these different things. Like, come on, give me something.
Matt took us to a bunch of great places. The first place that we went to was called Nola's, and it was all like food from New Orleans. But I would say, like, as far as shenanigans go, it wasn't us, because I mean, look, you know, we were working the show, and then afterwards we would go out. And granted, you know, when Matt was on a scooter, it was like the earth would want him to say hello 15 times between each location, you know, so he just greeted.
Right, exactly.
Ribs first. But the shenanigans happened to us, and I don't want to say the name of the hotel because it was just a complete anomaly, and the people at the front desk were like amazing. Like this.
Oh my God!
Person, yeah. Oh, do you have the card?
It's in the garage.
Yeah. Well, not to. No, I mean, I guess, but people didn't log in last week. You booked the wrong weekend, so I think
I did.
Oh yeah. That was one thing.
So I check. We check into the hotel, and Victor's like, I can't find you, and so I show him my app, and he's looking at it, and he goes,
Next week.
These two and he looks at the girl next and he goes, these two LA boys seem to have the wrong reservation. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah. And at this point, I've already figured out that I booked the wrong dates, and I'm I'm just trying to play dumb. And
we were supposed to check in today.
Yeah.
But housekeeping exacted their revenge on us. That was the most amazing thing. It was just funny. It was like,
that was pretty funny.
Yeah. One day we walk in and only one of the beds were made. The other one wasn't. The next day we walk in and there's all the toilet paper is missing. Then we walk in and the toilet paper has replaced the following day. But, but the entire room wasn't clean. Like none of the beds were made. Then we got a late checkout. And when we went up to the room at the end of the Classic on Sunday to grab our stuff, I don't know if it was frosting or butter or something, but there was this giant, little kid handprint smear across the outside of our door, just wishing us a goodbye. It was I never experienced anything like that. It was kind of crazy, but the good That's people awesome. At that nameless hotel actually really, really took care of us.
So I got to ask Rick.
Yeah, and needless to say, I got stuck in an elevator.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's it. This is what I wanted. So I just want to know, were you there with Rick when he was it Applebee's or Chili's or somewhere where you're getting your cocktails and then you brought him out with you?
No, that was at the airport.
Was at the airport.
Okay.
We asked for to-go cups and they were like, sure. And so we took them and we walked straight up to the gate and we went up to, what was her name? Keisha. We walked up to Keisha and she just looked at us and we looked at her. We said, we're just going to go on board. And she's like, okay. Not only did we go straight on board and sit in row 2, but she came on board to check on us, make sure we were okay and having a good time. And then the flight attendant who was taking care of us. I mean, she was as nice as can be. And I mean, I don't drink beer, but she kept bringing me like full cans of beer and just like, I didn't know what I was supposed to do with them, but it was almost like she wanted me to know. She was like giving me extras to take with me home. I don't know, but I left them in my back of my seat.
And she was on a mission to make sure no one ate the turkey.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So we had a great time.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, it sounds like you had
I like traveling with you, Raphie. I had a good time.
I had a great time, Rick. I like traveling.
Is your Tulsa tour guide available? Like, if I end up there, is he going to take me around town? Like, does he have a business that we can advertise for him, or is this just a one-time deal for Monster Bass only?
Matt,
what do you got, Matt?
Like, if you're going to come down here, I'll go fish with you anytime.
All right. I just want to make sure that offer's out there. Matt will take care of me. And Matt, if you come to California, we're in it. I've seen some chat over here. T-Rex is saying that we're going to the Classic. I'm going in Texas. I lived in Texas for 3 years. So I think we need to plan the trip. Let's do this.
Yeah, I mean, it's always easy to stay at the hotel that's right there. But I'll be honest, there's you could drop a ton of money, and it might be easier if we get an Airbnb and just like let everyone like stay there, and that way at night we can just, we don't have to go to some bar and drop a crap ton of money. We can just barbecue in the backyard with everybody, have a great time, really get to know people, invite some of the, Monster Bass faithful, and I think that's the way that it goes.
Yeah, I think there's a couple ponds in Texas. We can go fish. We can hang out, do the show maybe the Wednesday before live. I think we could do some fun stuff. So let's.
They're all garbage. Just ask Lone Star.
Lone Star. Yeah, what do you got?
I'm coming down to Texas next year if you guys are going to be there. So.
We're gonna be there.
Heck yeah!
You're the tour guy. Yeah. 13-pound fish in Texas. What, like 5 of them in the last couple of months? Like Texas is out of control right now. Let's do it.
Man. Yeah, 5th grader pulling that one out the last time, and that's spectacular.
I didn't hear that. Sorry.
Oh, there was a 5th grader that pulled
I saw that
lunker share lunker out. Yeah.
Share lunker.
I mean, that's things of dreams. I wish I was somewhere near 13 pounds for my personal best.
Rumor has it he caught that on the PB craw, but I can't confirm or deny that.
There's some.
Speaking of share lunker, okay, and did anybody see the post that Lose and Strike King came out with today? Lose is now, they've created their own Lose Legacy class. So if you catch a Toyo, or if you catch a share lunker in Texas and it's above 13 pounds, they are now certifying you as the Lose Legacy lunker. And if you catch a 10 pounder, you're the Strike King lunker. Like, they've created their own, like, let's just draft off of the Texas Share Lunker program and they've created their own new categories. It's brilliant. Why didn't I think of that?
That's great. Rather outdoors. You gotta love their marketing.
Yeah. So anyway. Well, listen, Matt, thanks for coming on the show. Like I said, it was great meeting you. Thanks for spending time with us, sharing your family with us. It was great meeting your kids too. And
dude, loved every minute of it.
Thank you so much. And I'll get in touch with you about that one package we need to ship.
Absolutely. Whenever you're ready, I'll get it out the door.
Appreciate you, man.
We'll talk to you guys.
All right, thanks.
Oh, I almost had it perfectly.
Oh, you're practicing cutting people off?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why don't we get someone to call in and you can just hang up on them?
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea. Let's take one more call and call it a day. What do you say?
We don't have another call.
Sure we do. Who would be really easy to... Cotton. Hey. Where is he? All right, let's just say if Chauncey doesn't call in within 30 seconds, he can't work the booth in Texas.
Oof. All right, let's just sit here quietly.
Yeah. 30, the countdown.
Fix, could you put a countdown on?
I mean, Caro thinks we're kidding, but Caro could call in.
Yeah.
Either one. I wouldn't know because I can't see the TV that far.
Yet you insist on it being there.
I do. I don't know why. I don't know why. Anyway, we had a great show. It was, we had a great guest. It
was fun.
Yeah, we had some good calls.
Oh, we got a caller.
Go ahead. Let's take it. Hello?
Yes.
Who's this?
Hello.
Who's this?
Marty.
Marty who?
Marty.
Marty.
Yeah.
Marty, hold on, Marty. Shouldn't you be going and using like our classified G14 clearance to find out if it was ISIS that really knocked that bridge down?
Nope.
Why not?
Come on.
Too soon, Rick.
National security. Like, help us out. There's all kinds of weird stuff out there. You got work to do.
It's not in my area of expertise. It's not in my area of expertise.
All right. So, what is your area of expertise, Marty? Oh, happy birthday, by the way.
I can't. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I can't tell you.
Yeah, but all right. You mean you can't tell everybody else? You could tell me, but
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about it another time.
I think it's like
Yeah.
water to air missiles or something.
Yeah.
It's.
Shh.
I work with all the Navy targets.
Okay.
So all the stuff that we shoot missiles and guns at, they have to shoot at something and get proficient and make sure the stuff works. And I provide them the target.
All right. So
We actually have cigarette boats that we use as targets.
So you had the slowest moving vessel in the Baltimore harbor, and you didn't try and take that one out?
No.
Okay.
No.
You win some, you lose
I
some.
wasn't on watch.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Hey, I was going to call in when Justin was on. I'll tell you, I had neck surgery last Wednesday. So it was really great that I could just sit back all weekend and watch that kid fish. And, my wife's whole family is down there in Alabama, and just to see what he did. I mean, that last day, it was close, but, man, I was cheering him on. And, I'm a big sports fan, baseball, hockey, football. And now I'm so into watching these tournaments, and just to see a kid like that, and what he did and what he pulled off was just amazing. I thought it was fantastic. It really was.
You're not wrong.
And, I was looking for you guys on that boat ramp. I never saw you holding up a monster bass sign or anything, so it's probably too early for you guys to be there.
I don't know how to take that.
I'm not sure either.
But
No, what time
Yeah,
was it?
so-
What time was it at?
it was
Way before.
5:30. We were still up.
Still.
We had to be on the trade show floor at 8, and I didn't book any chair. I didn't buy any chair. I rent any chairs for our booth, so we had to stand the entire day.
That's why keep the business going. I love it,
Rick. Well, you guys are talking about the trade show and the interaction. I go to a lot of them here in my local area, and I really do see, you have some companies that just sit there and don't interact with people. And then you have other people that are actively not pursuing, but, being a former used car salesman, you know what to look for. And like you pointing out the pig guy. You notice them and just started talking to them. It's that interaction that you guys can create going to these trade shows that you can't get anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
You're meeting your public. And, a lot of these people out there just looking for something different. And Monster Bass offers that far and above, a lot of these other companies. And, the fact that you'll stop and listen and talk to people, that's fantastic. That's what needs to be done. So I'm really glad Monster Bass got out there to this. And it does really seem like you enjoyed yourself, and you need to keep doing it.
Yeah, we learned a lot. And as much as we live in a digital world and we go everywhere with these phones, we need that human connection, and so we're not going to stop with that. It's going to become a bigger part of what we do.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
Look, we're talking, Marty, because
thing.
because you came to town, rolled in, and we all had lunch. So
yeah. Hey, I'll be back out there again in May. So if you guys are around,
because I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm busy. Can't do it. Sorry.
Hey, one last thing, Monster Bass Cares.
Yes, sir.
For customer service on your end, if we're getting any emails for supporting tournaments, it's been pretty quiet on my end. I'm starting to reach out to folks now. I got a little notebook with all my names and numbers and trying to find out when these tournaments are. If there are folks that are watching the show, or watch it after, after you put it up online for viewing later, anyone that wants to get in touch with veteran or first responder fishing tournament events that you want Monster Bass to help support, please email Monster Bass customer service, and they will forward your information on to me, and I'll get a hold of you.
I actually met with, thank you, Marty. I actually met with a group called Folds of Honor. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but they stopped by the booth. They had actually heard of Monster Bass Cares in our live show, and they asked if they could schedule a call to see if there was some way that we could collaborate with what they're doing and with what we're doing. So once I have their contact information because it's in my phone. But I'll get the first call scheduled. I'll let you know when it is, and we can all jump on a call and see where this goes.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. And I'm looking at a lot of different things here on my end. Obviously, my travel is a little restricted right now, but So anyone that knows of tournaments that they're going to be held within the next few months, please reach out to me, reach out to customer service Monster Bass, send them an email, get us the contact information. We'll get a hold of them.
Thank you, Marty.
Thanks, Marty.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Feel better. All right. Well,
well, now we got Chauncey. We got a couple more calls.
No.
Gotta hang
I was
up
just
on
about to end it.
I know, but, well,
You're
you
supposed to-
you still can, right? So you forgot what the mission was, Rick,
Yeah, it was.
and it was you were going to help me drop calls.
Okay, but
So,
let's take the first two calls.
Yeah, and then,
All
I'll
right, and then
drop
we'll-
them
and then we'll call it a
I just
day.
need some coaching, so we'll drop them.
Nope. Let's get him on, and then when I thank him, it's just like Dan Patrick when he's like,
Boom.
Really great question. I'm glad you asked me. And then I go to answer, and then you hang up on them.
Okay.
That's how we cut them off.
All right, got it.
I'm excited.
Let's practice this on friendlies.
Okay. All right, Chauncey.
Go ahead, caller. Where are you from and what's your PB? No. This is where you now answer the question.
I dropped him early.
What? Are you joking? No.
No, he's like, oh gosh.
All right, we got another one. Let's try another one.
Chauncey, call back. Sorry about that.
Like it's hot.
Yeah, call back, Chauncey. We couldn't hear you.
Like it's hot.
Who's that?
Drop it like it's hot.
Hey, thanks a lot for calling in, T-Rex. That's a great question and a great comment. Glad you made it.
Good. Dropped. All right, we got Chauncey. Chauncey's back.
All right.
Chauncey, got to get your phone off mute.
What's up, man? My phone off mute. Oh, man. You guys ending the show or what?
Well,
Good question, caller. Dropped.
Thanks for calling. That's awesome.
did you really drop him?
Yeah, no, he said right after he asked the question, I got to drop
One
him.
question.
You're my boss. I'm listening to you.
Your answer's yes. I'm ending the show. Thanks for calling in. Great question. Bam. Show's over. This is perfect.
Yeah.
Good
All
job.
right, we're calling Chauncey back. Let's do it one more time.
Let's just call him back. Call him back.
Okay.
Oh, that was perfect.
Chauncey. Yeah, he's answering now. Okay.
Hey.
Hello.
Yeah. Be careful with your. Now he's in the bathroom.
How you doing?
It sounds like.
I'm doing good.
He's out.
So, do you have a question?
What was the question?
Yeah.
What do you guys got planned? Anything for when you come to Texas? Because it's going to be a big party when we come down here to the next classic.
You're not wrong, Chauncey. I'm glad you asked that. So here's what we're gonna do. Thanks a lot. We are going to probably have a gathering every single night. That of course you're going to be invited to. We're going to have opportunities for you to come and work in the booth alongside of the likes of Raphie and everybody else. And it'll be just a great opportunity to see the team and check out some really great show specials and throw back a cold one with somebody. Anybody up next? That was it.
No, I dropped Chauncey 3 times. No,
all right, great. Let's end this.
Hey,
show.
I'm gonna public challenge. I'm gonna put this out there. If I can make it to Texas, I'm going head to head against Jeremy fishing a Lone Star. We're gonna fish one of his lakes, and I'm gonna go because I lost in a tournament, an online tournament. I did an SD plunge when I lost, and loser falls into the water. I'm gonna take him down. That's going on in Texas when we go there. So we're gonna plan out the whole week.
I'll be honest. I would be careful what you wish for because I went fishing in Texas with Jeremy. In fact, we sponsored a tournament on a lake, and what was the biggest fish caught? 1.5 pounds?
Something like that.
Yeah, it was god awful. It was
Hey,
like
I can catch small fish. I'm not afraid of that.
I am.
We're doing it.
I am.
No, I could go. I'll go catch small fish. There's big fish in Texas. I've got history there. Lived there for 3 years. I'm in. I got secret weapons there. So we're going head to head. Me against Jeremy in Texas. The classic. We're going.
But you got to use forward-facing sonar. That's the mandate. Everyone has to. And you get to fish on private waters.
Private waters, you don't need it. They tell you exactly where the fish are. They tell you exactly which bait to use, what's working, but it's all right. We'll go do it. It's going to be fun.
All right. Well, listen, I think we had a great show today. And I think it's time for us to go spend a little time with our families. Well deserved. So virtual high fives to you guys. And for everyone that's watching at home, thanks for tuning in. It was great having Justin on the show. It was great talking with you guys. And looking forward to being back next week. So we'll see you guys later.
See you then.